Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back to my channel if you're a returning viewer or subscriber. In today's video, I'm going to be talking you through my overambitious, as ever, TBR for December. I was away for a lot of November. I was in Dublin and then I was in Florida, so I was just like all over the world, threw off my reading plans a little bit. So I'm in the middle of a number of different books. So I have a couple of reading goals for this month. So today is November 30th. I really like the idea of going into the new year, having no books that I'm in the middle of. I'm not sure how realistic that goal is, but it does mean that something on my checklist is to try and read as many books as I can that I'm in the middle of already. So I've got a little chunk of those. I've also got books that are seasonal. I've got books that are on my 2023 TBR that I want to sneak in before the end of the year. And I've also got some series to finish, which I think would be really satisfying to again get done before the beginning of 2024. So that's the plan. I've kind of separated this video into those categories, so you should be able to see a little bit of what I mean as we go along the video if I'm not entirely clear, because I think I'm word vomiting a little bit. But without further ado, let's just get on to the video. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, so I'm gonna brush over these first few quickly because they're ones that I mentioned once, if not many times on this channel before. The first of which is Despair by Vladamir Nabokov. It's a book I'm reading for a video. I started filming this video in August, so I need to review my footage before I can continue with it. Ideally, again, I'd want to get this done before the end of the year, but I don't know how realistic this is. This is the one that I kind of hold out the least hope for because despite being short, I'm just so out of touch with that video and I need to get it sorted. So this is here, but we're gonna move on from it because I don't think it's a likely thing that will happen, but we'll see. And then these next few, I started them this month. If you don't see them in my November wrap up, then you should definitely 100% see them in my December wrap up. So first of all is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. About a third of the way, enjoying it, having fun. I'm reading this on audiobook via Audible as I'm reading along physically, so I just need to kind of sit down and make some more progress with this book. A classic, obviously, and it's lovely to have one of them on the go. I also read some other austen this year, so I would like to sneak in one more before the end of the year. I have Beautiful World, Where Are You by Rooney. This is another book I picked up this month. I am 100 pages into this and it's 340 pages roughly. Again, should be finishing this before the end of the month. Another book that I have a reading vlog for. It's in part my island trip and as well as like just a focus on this book, so you should definitely be seeing that through the month. I actually want to focus a lot on YouTube this month because I've got so many plans. After being away so much throughout November, I'm just excited to like settle and like readjust to normal life, focus on what I love doing, which is booktube. And I'm not doing synopses, but all will become revealed over the videos that you'll be seeing. And then the final one in this category is The Ballad, Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne, the prequel to The Hunger Games. I very highly anticipated this book and it's taken me so long to get around to actually reading it. When did I receive this? 2020. With the release of the film, I hope to read this book, vlog the experience of it, and then upload that on the release date of the film, but unfortunately I missed that. I just didn't have time with the rest of the stuff I had in the month. But I still am interested in getting that video out, even if it won't be as well received as it might have been had I been more organised. I'm 150 pages into this. This is quite a long book, it's like 500 pages, but I'm having a lot of fun, and again a vlog will be coming to you very soon. So that's it for the books that I'm in the middle of that I definitely want to finish before the end of the month. I'm just thinking about the fact that Despair is in that pile, and that's probably not going to happen. But anyways, now we're going to move on to books that are the final ones in their series. I've got a couple of these. I've also mentioned these in my end of the year book tag, so these will be a little bit repetitive, but again I'll try to whiz through them. So first of all we have Finale. This was on my October TBR and my November TBR, and very sadly we're going to be reading it in December. I mean, I'm excited to read this full stop, but I did want to read this before we got into December because there's another chunky final book in a series that I want to read this month as well. But this one is the third and final book in the Caraval trilogy, which is a trilogy that I've been reading throughout this year. I've rated the first two books 4 stars, so I'm very excited to jump into this one and see how the series is concluded. Caraval follows two sisters, Donatella and Scarlett. They're kind of thrust into the world of Caraval, which is this carnival-like setting, this party, this game. It's very dark, it's very mysterious. You're constantly trying to figure out what is real and what isn't, and it's such a fun YA fantasy series. It does look quite long, quite chunky, but the font is quite big and it's YA, so again should be able to finish this one within December. This is higher priority than the next one I'm going to mention. This book is massive, much bigger than the last, and that is The Toll by Neal, which is the final book in the Scythe series. The reason why I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to be getting to this book is not just because it's so long, but it's because I read the first and second Scythe books years ago. I think I read Scythe in 2018, 2019, and then I read Thunderhead, oh gosh, maybe it was I don't know, it was a long time ago, very long time ago. I really enjoyed Scythe. I absolutely loved Thunderhead, so I have very high hopes for this book, but it might be necessary to do some rereads before I get around to reading this one, which is pretty annoying, but it might have to happen because I just don't think I'm as familiar with the series as I would have liked to have been going into this book, but we'll see what I do. I might just watch some video essays or read some plot summaries, things like that. You will see by the end of the month in my December wrap up what I have decided to do with this book. At some point I would love to read this because I'm sure it's gonna be great. This one is The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion, another book that I mentioned in my end of the year wrap up. No, what's it called? End of the year book tag, a book that was on my 2023 TBR, and I would like to tick off 1 or 2 more books off that list before the end of the year. I have got through a lot of those, but there are still more that I feel like I could pick up. So if I feel in the mood for it, this is one that I will get to. This is a non-fiction book, kind of memoir about a very difficult year in Joan Didion's life that affected her entire family, focusing on her husband and her daughter. I think this is going to be quite a difficult read, as in it will be quite heavy because there's lots to do with health and grief and things like that. But I feel like I might be in the mood to kind of switch things up from the rest of the kind of fantasy thicker reads that I will be in the middle of throughout December, so this could be a good one for that. The next book is also on my 2023 TBR, and that is My Body by model M. Rafter. That's her username on Instagram, and this is her memoir about her body. This amazing signed copy which I found on Depop. Very fun. But yeah, this is a book that I am very interested in. I've heard so many good things about it, and I'm excited again to kind of switch up what I'm reading and maybe read these little essays that she's written about a topic that's important to her, but also particularly I think to women, especially being on social media and seeing your engagement go up and whatever whenever you decide to share your body more than your heart. I'm not saying that those two things have to be like separated, but Instagram's very visual. This could be a very good read. I'm very excited. Again, if I have time, if I'm in the mood for it, this is a possibility. And then the last 2 books are books that are just seasonally appropriate. It's December, it's fun to settle down with a book that is just like good for this time of year because, you know, Christmas is coming up. We've had like a lot of these recently, but I think it's another good month to be reading something that's like appropriate for that particular month. The first book I have is Eileen by Ottessa moshfegh. I've read 2 books by Ottessa moshfegh. I've read Latvona and I've read My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I can never say that title. I loved Latvona, was less taken by My Year of Rest and Relaxation, but I'm excited to read more of her work. I believe this is actually her debut. I don't know, it came before the others anyways, and it's also just been adapted into a film which has come out recently. Actually, I don't think, maybe I don't get the film until next year in the UK, but either way I would like to eventually watch the film, which means I need to read the book. This also is perfect. I was actually going to read this book in January, February time because I thought it was just, you know, more to do with snow, as you can see on the cover, so better for the colder weather but not necessarily needed to be read in the Christmas season. But the first line of the bit on the back says, "The Christmas season offers little cheer for Eileen Dunlop." It's perfect. I don't know a lot about the plot of this book, but I do know that it's about Eileen and her friend Rebecca, very kind of intense relationship that forms between them. Trapped between caring for her alcoholic father and her job as a secretary of the boys' prison, she tempers her dreary days with dreams of escaping into the big city. In the meantime, her nights and weekends are filled with shoplifting and cleaning up her increasingly deranged father's messes. When the beautiful, charismatic Rebecca arrives on the scene, Eileen is enchanted, but soon Eileen's affection for Rebecca will pull her into a crime that far surpasses even her own wild imagination. I think this is gonna be great. I'm so excited for the film. I've heard so many good things already. This is also shortlisted for the Booker. I have high hopes for this one, and I'm excited to see how it compares to Moshfegh's other work that I've read so far. And then the final book I have to mention is one that I don't have physically because I own it on Kindle. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This book is set in the snowy cold, and I just think it's amazing to be settling down with a cozy fantasy book in the cold weather when you're inside, warm, and in the lead up to Christmas. Like, nothing sounds better than that. So this book, like I said, is a cozy fantasy book. It features Emily Wilde, who is traveling to somewhere in Northern Europe to discover the final species of fairies that she needs to document in order to complete her encyclopedia of fairies. It sounds wonderful. I think it's got this kind of like grumpy sunshine, kind of dynamic little romance situation going on, or maybe it's an enemies to lovers or something like that. I love fairies, so I was instantly sold the second I heard about this book. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've actually already started it. I'm about 7% of the way through, and so far so good. The writing style is a little bit difficult to get into. It's different from other things I've read. It kind of reads a little bit like a classic. Either way, I'm having fun with it. I just love the actual subject matter, and the plot is progressing in a very lovely, charming way. That is the final book on the TBR. We've got so many here. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When I look at it like that, I really don't think we're going to be getting to all these. There are some that I'm in the middle of, obviously, and there are some, like I said, or one that I might not be able to get to, but we'll see what we do. We'll like to do a lot of reading, but to make a lot of progress in the reads that I'm in and round off the year on a positive note. If you're wondering, there's no like Goodreads goal I'm chasing anymore. I set my Goodreads goal at 23 because I didn't really know what this year was going to look like in terms of how much time I'd have to read. I've read 53 books this year. No, 54 as of last night, because I finished a book last night, which is an insane number. I've never read that much in my life. I think I've only read like 47 or something total one year. This is a crazy year. So I don't have any major ambitions to kind of reach another number before the end of the year. 60 would be cool, but again, don't really care. There you go. That is my December TBR. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up so I can tell. Subscribe if you'd like to stick around and see all the fun content I've got planned for December, including the reading vlogs of my trip to Ireland, which includes Beautiful World Where Are You, one book focused reading vlog for the Ballad, Songbirds and Snakes, as well as my trip to Florida, which I believe will be probably my next video, if not the one after that. I'm very excited for you guys to see that, myself to see. I haven't even looked over the footage yet, but I think that'll be a fun time as well. So stick around if you so wish. Without further ado, I will leave you and I'll see you very, very soon in a couple of days for another video. Bye bye.